Ho, ho, ho! Well, hello there, my dear friends. It's me, Santa Claus, and tonight I've got a story that will make your jingle bells shake. Now, I've been delivering gifts for centuries. I've flown over snowy rooftops, slid down chimneys, eaten more cookies than you could ever imagine. But let me tell you a secret. Along my journey every Christmas Eve, I see things. Oh yes, things most of you wouldn't believe. Because while most families are hanging stockings by the fireplace, the billionaires of this world are hanging stockings embroidered with diamonds. While you're sipping hot cocoa, they're popping champagne that costs more than my sleigh. So tonight, I'll take you with me. Yes, right in the sleigh. As I show you the most insane billionaire Christmas celebrations I've ever witnessed. Buckle your seatbelts, my little elves, because this ride is going to be frostier and fancier than you've ever dreamed. Ho, ho, ho. Christmas trees. One of my favorite traditions. No matter how big or small, no matter if they're real pines or little plastic ones, every tree I see fills my heart with joy. But oh ho ho, when it comes to billionaires, their Christmas trees are in another league entirely. Let me tell you about some of the wildest I've ever seen while delivering gifts. One frosty night in Abu Dhabi, I flew over the Emirates Palace Hotel. I nearly fell off my sleigh when I saw it. A Christmas tree worth $11 million. Now don't get me wrong, the tree itself was just fine. But what made it sparkle were the ornaments. We're talking diamond necklaces, sapphire pendants, golden watches, and strings of pearls hanging on the branches as if they were candy canes. I thought to myself, one wrong step by Rudolph, and that tree will cost more than the North Pole workshop itself. Ho, ho, ho! And then there's London. One year I slipped into the townhouse of a billionaire banker. Instead of tinsel and popcorn garlands, his tree was decorated with custom ornaments by Dior and Cartier. Each bauble hand-painted, each ribbon woven with actual threads of gold. The tree was so tall it poked into the second floor of the house. I had to squeeze my belly past the top branches just to get through. In New York, I saw a family who had 2 Christmas trees in every room. Yes, 2, a day tree and a night tree. The day trees were decorated in silver and white, while the night trees glowed with neon lights and holographic ornaments. It was like stepping into the future. Christmas meets a sci-fi movie. Some billionaires even hire tree architects. Oh yes, it's a real job. Experts who design and assemble trees over several weeks. These designers don't just decorate, they choreograph. Imagine a tree with ornaments that light up in sequence to music, changing colors as an orchestra plays live carols in the background. I nearly clapped my mittened hands in applause. And in Monaco, I once saw a tree made entirely out of crystal glass. No pine, no branches, just layers of delicate crystal shaped like icicles. The whole room glittered like the inside of a snowflake. Beautiful, yes. But I tell you, I was nervous just sneezing near it. One achoo, and it would have shattered into $1 million mess. Now, here's a funny story. In Beverly Hills, a billionaire family ordered a tree from the Alps. They flew it all the way across the ocean in a private jet, just so they could say their Christmas tree had European roots. And the tree wasn't even that big. Certainly not big enough for all that trouble. I remember chuckling, thinking, you could have asked me. I carry fir trees in bulk every December. Ho, ho, ho. But perhaps the most heartwarming of all was in Paris. A billionaire family decorated their tree with ornaments handmade by their children. Yes, there were diamonds and crystals too. But right in the middle of all that sparkle were crooked little paper stars, glitter-glued hearts, and a gingerbread man missing one leg. And you know what? That tree, to me, was the most priceless of them all. Oh, ho, ho, the parties! Now listen closely, because this is where things get really wild. When most families think of a Christmas party, they picture a cozy living room, a tree twinkling in the corner, maybe Uncle Frank singing carols out of tune. But when I peek into billionaire parties on Christmas Eve, oh, my reindeers nearly fall out of the sky from laughter and disbelief. Let me tell you about the time I flew over Beverly Hills. One mansion was lit up so bright I thought it was a new star in the night sky. I land on the roof, slide down the chimney, and what do I find? A Christmas party so grand it looked like the Academy Awards. Guests in gowns glittering like icicles, tuxedos sharper than icicles, paparazzi outside the gates snapping photos of celebrities arriving in limousines wrapped in Christmas bows. And in New York City, oh ho ho, hedge fund managers love to show off. I once dropped gifts in the middle of a penthouse party where they had hired Mariah Carey herself to sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You, Live," just for a few dozen guests. Can you imagine? Meanwhile, the rest of the world hears her on the radio, but billionaires get the private concert in their living room. I had to stop myself from singing along "Ho Ho Ho." Now, some of these parties are themed. One I'll never forget was a masquerade ball. Masks decorated with jewels, guests gliding across a marble floor while a full orchestra played carols with a twist of opera. I tiptoed across the room in my boots, trying not to be noticed. But of course my belly shakes like a bowl full of jelly. One guest even asked me if I was part of the entertainment. And oh, the Russians, ho ho ho, they love to go big. I once visited a billionaire's mansion outside Moscow where there was no snow that year. So what did he do? He imported tons of snow by truck just to turn his garden into a winter wonderland. Children built snowmen taller than me. Snowball fights raged into the night, and reindeers looked at me as if to say, "Why did we even fly here if he can buy the snow?" But perhaps the most outrageous one was in Dubai, a Christmas party in the desert, where the billionaire host had built an indoor ice rink just for the night. Yes, in the middle of the desert. Guests in designer clothes glided across the ice, sipping champagne, while outside it was hotter than Mrs. Claus's oven. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my sack of gifts. And let's not forget London's royal-style celebrations. I once entered a townhouse party where they had recreated the North Pole inside their ballroom. Artificial snow fell from the ceiling. Elves on stilts walked around juggling candy canes, and a mechanical sleigh ride carried guests through a fake snowy forest. I had to look around and say, wait a minute, am I at work right now or at a party? Ho, ho, ho. Now, let me tell you, not all billionaires stay home for Christmas. Oh no, my friends. Many of them are jet setters, soaring across the skies in their gleaming private jets, while I'm up above with my trusty reindeer. And let me tell you, sometimes I think their jets might even be faster than Rudolph. But don't tell him that. His nose will turn green with envy. Let's start with Aspen, Colorado. Every year I see those snowy slopes filled with the world's richest families. And oh, what a sight. I've delivered presents to chalets where the fireplaces are taller than my sleigh, and where the Christmas trees wear more designer labels than a fashion runway. These chalets can cost $20,000 a night. Yes, for one night. And instead of hot cocoa with marshmallows, the billionaires sip cocoa sprinkled with real gold flakes. It makes my milk and cookies look downright humble. Then there's St. Moritz in Switzerland, a place so magical it looks like it was designed by elves. I once tiptoed through a billionaire's chalet there and found a party in full swing. Guests were wearing fur coats from head to toe, and the champagne flowed like rivers. One gentleman offered me a glass that was older than me. Can you imagine? Wine aged for over 300 years. I politely declined, of course. I need a clear head to steer a sleigh through the Alps. Ho, ho, ho. But not all billionaires want snow. Some want the sun. So where do they go? To the Maldives, the Caribbean, or private islands they rent just for the holidays. Imagine this. I had to land my sleigh on a sandy beach one Christmas Eve. Poor Rudolph's hooves were slipping in the sand. And there, in the middle of the ocean, a family celebrated Christmas with fireworks, lobster feasts, and gifts arriving by helicopter. Yes, a helicopter delivering gifts. I had to laugh. Imagine trying to compete with Santa Claus himself using a noisy machine. And speaking of helicopters, let me tell you about Dubai. Oh, the billionaires there love to go all out. I once peeked at a Christmas celebration in a penthouse where they had installed a real indoor ski slope, complete with artificial snow and pine trees. Imagine skiing in the desert while sipping hot cocoa. That's what I call Christmas magic with a twist. But wait until you hear this one. In Monaco, a billionaire family booked an entire luxury cruise ship for themselves and their closest friends. That's right, a whole ship. They decorated the decks with fairy lights, turned the ballroom into a winter wonderland, and even had a live orchestra playing Christmas carols as the ship sailed across the Mediterranean. I nearly had to ask them to slow down so I could land my sleigh on deck without splashing into the sea. And oh ho ho, how could I forget the African safari Christmas? Yes, some billionaires trade snow for savannas. One family celebrated Christmas in Kenya, right in the middle of a wildlife reserve. Instead of reindeer, they had giraffes wandering by their dinner table. I left their gifts in a tent guarded by elephants. Quite the challenge, let me tell you. I don't think Dasher and Blitzen have ever been so nervous. From snowy mountaintops to golden beaches, from private islands to luxury yachts sailing the seas, billionaires turn Christmas into a worldwide spectacle. While most families are watching holiday movies by the fire, these jet-setters are flying halfway across the globe, making sure their Christmas is as unforgettable as possible. And trust me, when Santa sees it all from above, even I can't help but say, now that's what I call a first-class holiday. Ho, ho, ho. Now, ho, 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 gifts. Ah, yes, my specialty. I've delivered more gifts than anyone in history, from wooden toys to the latest gaming consoles. But every year, when I peek inside the homes of billionaires, I find presents so extraordinary, so unbelievable that even I, Santa Claus, have to rub my eyes twice. One Christmas Eve, I landed on the rooftop of a billionaire mansion in California. The family's son didn't find a bicycle under the tree like most children. Oh no, he found a fully customized Ferrari 488, painted in candy apple red with his initials stitched into the leather seats. The boy was only 16, I thought, goodness me. I was delivering toy cars when I could have just parked this beauty under the tree. Then there was the little princess in Dubai who unwrapped a Barbie doll dripping in diamonds. Yes, her tiara and gown were made with real gemstones worth over $300,000. Meanwhile, back at the North Pole, the elves tried to make a Barbie with candy wrappers. Ho ho ho, a bit more affordable, I'd say. But that's nothing compared to the time a billionaire gifted his wife an entire private island in the Caribbean. Imagine this. She opened a golden envelope, and inside was a deed, a map, and the keys to a paradise with white sand beaches and crystal clear waters. Mrs. Claus nearly fainted when I told her about that one. She said, "Santa, where's my island, Oh dear, I'm still paying for that conversation. I once stopped by a mansion in Paris where the father had gifted his daughter an exclusive couture collection from Dior, every piece handmade and unique. No shopping bags here. Each dress was displayed on mannequins lined up in the ballroom like a private fashion show. Even my red suit felt underdressed in that room. And then, in London, I delivered a box that wasn't heavy at all. Curious, I peeked. Inside was a solid gold iPhone encrusted with diamonds. The family had customized it for their teenage son. I thought, ho ho ho, I hope this boy doesn't drop it on the school bus. But it doesn't end with toys or jewelry. Billionaires gift experiences too. Things that can't be wrapped in paper. One family I visited chartered a private space flight for their children as a Christmas present. Yes, you heard me correctly. Space. While most kids are happy with a telescope, these little ones were promised a seat on a rocket ship. Another family in Monaco once hired Elton John to perform in their living room as the gift for their holiday guests. The wrapping paper, the concert tickets were folded into golden envelopes placed under the tree. Ho, 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 even my elves would line up to receive that. And my favorite story of all, a billionaire who gave his wife a rare pink diamond as big as a gumdrop. He didn't just hide it in a jewelry box. Oh no. He placed it inside a crystal ornament, hung on the Christmas tree itself. When she finally noticed the sparkle, the look on her face lit up brighter than all the fairy lights combined. Of course, some go even further. I've seen gifts like super yachts decorated with giant bows, private jets unveiled on snowy runways, and even companies handed over as presents. Imagine waking up on Christmas morning and being told, "Congratulations, darling, you now own a fashion empire." Ho, ho, ho. Talk about responsibility stuffed in your stocking. Now, don't get me wrong. I still believe the best gifts are made with love. A handmade card, a knitted scarf, a smile at the dinner table. But I must admit, the billionaires sure know how to make Christmas morning unforgettable. Sometimes I wonder if even Rudolph would trade his red nose for a golden yacht. Ho, ho, ho! Now, my friends, let me take you into the most magical and perhaps the most jaw-dropping part of all. Because if there's one thing billionaires love more than yachts or diamonds, it's turning their homes into palaces of Christmas wonder. I've seen mansions that look like gingerbread castles straight out of a fairy tale. Imagine entire ballrooms transformed into candy cane forests with towering peppermint pillars, chocolate fountains bubbling in the corners, and gingerbread villages so detailed you'd think tiny people actually lived inside them. I had to resist the urge to nibble at the rooftops. Don't tell Mrs. Claus, ho, ho, ho. Outside, oh dear, the light displays. Some of these homes are so bright, Rudolph doesn't even need his nose to guide us. 500,000 lights twinkling in perfect rhythm to Christmas carols. Entire streets shut down because the traffic slows as everyone stops to stare at the glowing wonder. From above, it looks like a galaxy of stars has landed on Earth. And let me tell you about the decorations inside. One mansion in Beverly Hills had a chandelier made entirely of Swarovski crystals shaped like snowflakes. Another in London had 12 nutcracker statues, taller than me, standing guard at the front gates like soldiers of Christmas. I almost saluted them before remembering, ho ho ho, I had toys to deliver. In Monaco, I once entered a living room where the fireplace mantle wasn't decorated with stockings, but with diamond-encrusted initials for every family member. The children's names spelled out in pure sparkle. And in Dubai, I found an indoor ice rink. Yes, inside the house, where the children skated in circles while their parents sipped golden hot chocolate on velvet couches. Oh, and the smells, my friends. Not just gingerbread and pine, but the aromas of Michelin star chefs baking pastries, roasting turkeys, and serving dishes so fine that even my elves would trade their candy canes for a taste. And yet, here's the part that warms my snowy heart. In every single one of these extravagant mansions, no matter how many millions were spent, no matter how dazzling the lights or how high the ceilings, I always saw the same simple moment. Families gathered together, smiling, laughing, sharing stories by the fire. The richest gift of all. Santa's farewell. And so, my dear friends, that is what I, Santa Claus, have witnessed. The most insane, most magical, most unbelievable Christmas celebrations of the billionaires. Mansions glowing like galaxies. Parties fit for kings, trees worth millions, and gifts that defy imagination. But remember this, the sparkle of Christmas isn't found in gold or diamonds or chandeliers of crystal. The true sparkle is in the laughter of loved ones, the warmth of family, and the joy of giving. Whether your gift is a diamond necklace or simply a hug that says, "I love you." So as I climb back into my sleigh, the reindeer stomping their hooves, and the elves waving me goodbye, I leave you with this final thought. Treasure the magic, wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho! Thank you for joining me on this sleigh ride through the world of Billionaire Christmas Wonder. If you enjoyed this magical journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more tales of luxury and wonder, and share it with someone who needs a little sparkle this season. Now, off I go. Mrs. Claus is waiting, the cookies are calling, and the world is ready for Christmas morning. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a luxurious night. Ho, 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 ho.